46,000 be spent? In other words, that's not going to apply to this consultant, is it? It's going to apply to other functions and services.
No, it would be part of this when she's spending time on that. It's all one hourly rate. It's just telling you how the total came from.
So the 46,000 has been put into the 130, but I said before, and you said yes, that the hourly rate was derived by taking the base salary and the benefits at 131, and you said yes.
Yes.
So I thought that the 46 was some additional expenditure for other folks.
It would also be added into that for the total of 177.
So really, the hourly rate is divided by 40 hours per week, 177,000. Because you're not talking about hiring an additional.
Correct.
See, I'm trying to differentiate.
Yes.
Because it appears here that you were going to spend the 46,000 in another manner, but you're not.
No.
So that's a pretty high hourly wage. Is Mr. Supervisor Pinchas calculating it?
It's not an hourly wage. It's a contract rate with PMC.
But are we getting another individual? In other words, are we getting the chief planner position filled by this consultant for the 131,000 rate divided by, broken into an hourly rate, I'm assuming at 40 hours a week?
Yeah.
And then we're getting other time from PMC for the 46,000, in other words, other staff time?
What you're getting is the hourly rate is $85 an hour. That will buy a certain number of hours. And those hours would total up to 177,000 if the person worked 40 hours a week for 52 weeks. However, the person is not working 40 hours a week. There will be off and on times, but we're not talking about 40 hours a week. And it's highly unlikely that it's going to be 52 weeks. So that was kind of the top end. It's up to, it's going to be whatever the hours are worked times $85 an hour. And if you want us to lower that amount so that it's more reflective of what it actually might be, I can certainly do that. But it's an up to amount, so we were just covering our bases. I don't, it's just this one individual. It's not purchasing other people or anything else.
Supervisor Pinchas.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was willing to go along with this, getting this general plan completed and approving the contracts and everything, because it was supposed to be wrapped up by December of 2008. Now we hear earlier it's probably going to be another year on top of that. Just on this consent calendar today, between the water study and the other functions, there's over $650,000 more additional money that's going to need to spend between now and another year. Now that's not counting the cost of our planning team, that's county salaries and benefits. So that probably puts it well over another $1 million. And maybe it's time here, because, you know, I felt that we were, two reasons. We're on a kind of a short time, a time frame with a goal to get all this wrapped up before the end of the year. Now it's clearly going to go into next year, and who knows with the water study how long on that. So if it's going to cost us another $1 million, and yes, it's all general fund dollars. Some of it's from planning fees, but it's still all general fund dollars that maybe we want to redirect some. Maybe it's time, being that we're going to go through this another year, maybe we should stop and just go back a little bit and look at the big picture. Maybe we want to contract the whole remaining functions of the general plan and then VUBAP into a contract and do away with the planning team. Maybe we want to try to hire somebody at this. If these monies we're paying out, I think we can find somebody at those salaries. You know, maybe we need to be more aggressive with that. But my point is, for spending another year and over $1 million in general fund money, maybe we just better take 30 days here and relook at how we're doing business. Because how we've been doing business, we've just been having these add-ons to get this done, to get that done. We add more money to it, more money to it. And maybe it's time, being it's going to take us another year to wrap this up, maybe we just better drop back for a month and say, hey, look at this. Maybe we can save some money here and get to the end product. Because we're not on this try to get it wrapped up by December of 2008 anymore. It's probably going to take another year, and I'll go along with that. But just to throw another $1 million out of it here, I think is pretty short-sightedness. And you know, we're talking about maybe we want to extend it another 2 years, and save half of that $1 million we're going to spend. That's an option I think this board ought to consider. But just to approve today, basically, $650,000 worth of contracts here today to keep going on. And frankly, this water study, I think there's more, if you look at, I just got a copy of the actual, the scope of work, and to me, it brings up more question than answer. It's what it don't do is the problem I have in this scope of work for this water study. For instance, it doesn't do any.
Well, Supervisor,
anyways.
that's the next issue.
Well, it's okay, but it's all tied together because it's all to do with all these consent items are tied together. They're because they're separate contracts, but it all ties together
To the
on
general plan.
expenditure. And what we're asked to do here today is go forward today with the $650,000 plus the cost of our planning team for another year. So you're talking well over $1 million in general fund expenditures, and maybe we just ought to take a month here and just back off and say, hey, are we sure we're doing this right? Maybe there's another scenario we can do here, being, we have at least, if, there's no, under this new timetable, there's no, we were trying to get it done in this calendar year. Now we're blowing by that by a year. So what's the hurry? Let's stow up here, and maybe we can, for spending $1 million or $650,000 a day, maybe we can do business a little better.
Thank you, Supervisor. Supervisor Colfax.
I'm going to pick up on that. This whole general plan, Johnny Pinches mentioned years ago, doing it in-house. We couldn't do it in-house because we didn't have the resources. The reason we don't have the resources in-house is because we're paying consultants to do work on this. That was a choice we made, figuring we didn't have the resources, let's pay the consultants. I guess what I'm a little uncomfortable about is the logic that says, and maybe you can clarify this for me, we're paying $88 an hour to a consultant. That's a consultant's rate. It's kind of low end of a consultant with the expertise we're talking about because they're consultants. But you don't ordinarily pay a consultant for 2,000 hours worth of work to handle, essentially substitute for a planner. But if we looked at that $176,000 and figured that 40% is going to go to benefits and 60% to real salary, we're still talking $110,000. Have we put out a request to hire somebody for $110,000 who would be on staff for a full year, be accountable to this board and to the CEO on a day-to-day basis, be accountable to you in your role, who will not be out there as a consultant kind of giving us things that that we take and review and, hey, it's been done, we paid for it. But is the logic here that we simply cannot hire a consultant for, that we cannot hire an on-staff person for $175,000, including benefits, which would be base salary of about $110,000? I mean, have we tried that?
I think at that salary rate, you're talking about a department head. You're not talking about a chief planner position. And the way you pay that higher rate is through contracting with a consulting firm. And that's essentially what we're doing. There is not, for the position that we're talking about, a chief planner is